Hello everybody! Today we're going to be putting together a bicycle, of course. It's going to be a BMX bicycle. It's going to be the Fit BF22, 22-inch wheeled BMX bike. Going to build it up for a customer because we already had one in stock and it was sold, but he liked that one, so he put money down on this one. So we're going to go over how to put everything together, going to unbox it and go everything from there. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll stop talking right now. All right. So Fit Bike Co. Come on up here. You see this is a 2018 BF22 in translucent black. Let's cut this box open and see what she looks like. All right. Belly stick, so be careful. First, pull out the parts box. Zip to the side. Go ahead and grab on the frame. Start pulling around. Something's pretty out. You always pull out the rear wheel. Like that. Some people put these things on there. I put that in the round file. And then we recycle everything else. So let's get the serial number and get rid of the box. I always put a little bit of grease where the seat post goes in. Just got to make sure I find the seat post. And I bet you it's going to be in this parts box right here. Let's find out. And lo and behold, this one comes with the seat, and the seat post, an extremely long seat post in the box. What I particularly like about these seat posts right here is, especially with the bigger ones, is you have this layback. Most of them are in the center. So this one's going to actually set the seat back just a hair. It's also got a quick release seat post clamp and a really long seat post, so when you're done jumping, you want to ride home, just flip it up and go. I'm going to go ahead and grease up the bolt on this. You just don't want it to seize up. You don't really have to get any much on the plastic. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like that. Those will match up together. Just a little bit of grease on the threads. This particular, and a lot of the other seats, the pivotal seat posts will, or the seats themselves, the bolt will come to the top. This one does not do that. This one actually has an access hole through the back. So to be said with that, it'd probably be better I made sure if that's a 6 or a 5. It's not a 6. It's a 5 mil. Bam. So I'm going to go ahead and I like to put that through there. Make sure I can grab on there and then push down on the seat and come this direction a little bit. And you'll say, oh my gosh, you're going backwards. No, remember it's still right-hand thread, so if we're coming from the opposite side, it is kind of reverse. You go to the left. And I'll bring that down in there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it brings the bolt flush with that right there. And boom. That's how the S&M seat post and the S&M saddle go together for the BF22. Always grease the inside of the frame on these bad boys. I know some people put, oh, you put a lot in there, but that's okay. You almost cannot have enough on these bad boys. You can overlube other things. Now on the quick release clamp, I take a little bit of Tri-Flow and I'll put it right on the lever itself. Let that soak in for a second and wipe off the excess, because you don't want it getting on the other parts of the frame. Go ahead and clamp that closed, make sure it doesn't move, and then let's get her into the stand. First, unclip the handlebar, but since there's a bunch of cardboard here and everything else, I'm going to do it from the other side. The main reason why I do that is because you're going to cut all the zip ties up here on top where the tires are, and then you're going to cut the bottom one, and the handlebar is attached to the brake cable, so it's going to go plop, and it's going to bend the end of the brake cable. So you want to unclip the bottom one first and drop the handlebars that direction, that way. That way you don't ruin the end of the cable. Be very careful when opening stuff like this, especially if you're using knives and stuff like that. That's about the only thing I'm going to use a knife on. I never use a knife on anything else. What I like about their packaging here, they tape one side and they put a brake lever packaged on the other side. Rip it open. Bring it down. Comes right off. Throw that in the recycle bin. Even if these are taped, you don't need a knife. They come right off. Recycle bin. Now I'm going to hang this on my arm. I'm going to grab my clippers. I'm going to cut these zip ties. If you notice, I'm leaving the front tire on. So you can take that off in a minute. The main thing is I want to make sure that these handlebars are secured first before I take care of anything else. Then pull that off. Put all of those recycled and garbage. Fork around. You can tear that off if you'd like. Feels okay. 6mm Allen wrench. We'll take these off, and they are kind of already pre-greased, but I'm going to hang the handlebar in there, and I'm going to put a little bit more grease on there just to make sure I have the right kind of grease on here. Hang that on there, and you'll get some grease. I got some grease right here. I'm not going to put any grease right on these because I've already seen a little grease in the threads there. I'm just going to put a little dab, just a tiny little dab of grease on each one of these. I mean, just a little bit, and maybe just push that a little bit like a paintbrush into the thing. And then we're going to, I like to put it where the logo of the company is facing forward. Some people like to make it where it's facing the people that are actually going to be riding the bike. So, get those even. And what I'm doing here is I'm filling this with my thumb, making sure this is even. With my forefinger, I'm feeling and making sure that that is even as I'm doing that. And then on these handlebars, there's these little diamond plate cuts. And you see these will end on both sides. And you'll actually even that up with the handlebar. Hey guys, I'm going to give you a little closer view here of how this should be. I don't know if I can show you guys this very clear, but it's got diamond plating. If you put it through that side, you see it through that side. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to make it where they basically disappear. You're going to see the edge of this cut and the edge of the cuts over there. Now, as I'm holding it still, this and this should be pretty even. So I'm just going to kind of snug it down just enough to make sure it's straight for that to hold down. And then if you notice, I'm only doing those two because now I can let go of the handlebar. And now what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is square with the handlebar, or the handlebar is square with that. Also that the handlebar itself is in line with the fork. So knock on that just a little bit, and you notice I've only snug it down a little bit, knocked on it, and now it looks good. My gapping, you can see there and there is about even. Now I can go to this side, kind of finger snug those up a little bit, and I notice that this one's not going all the way down in, so I'm just just kind of go a little bit. The head might not be perfectly round. It might be bottoming out or hitting the edge of the hole that's drilled in there. You know, they're cast, they're not machined, so it might not be perfect. 1, 2. Always tighten across the bar. 3, 4. Notice I'm only going a quarter of a turn. 1, 2. See, it's not letting me go a quarter turn on that one. 3, 4. Go around again, and you want to just kind of feel them out. I do not know what torque specs are supposed to be on these. I do not use torque wrenches. When my wrists start screaming at me, then I know it's done. All right, so that's how you tighten that up. So let's move on to the rest of the bike. These off and either recycle these things or save them for when you're going to package another bike if you work at a shop, because people will ask you to package bikes and ship them for them. So I put those aside, check my hubs. Now these have sealed hubs that can still have play in them. The main thing is I'm going to make sure that I can unscrew these and that these here are tight. Now that's good. That feels pretty smooth. So let me true that and then we'll move on to the rear wheel. All right, that looks really, really good. So let me move on to the rear wheel. Now the rear hub on this bad boy right here takes a 17mm wrench to take them off. Some are 18 millimeters, some are 19 millimeters. If you notice, I'm actually pushing my body against the rear wheel, pulling onto the seat here so that the rack or the stand itself doesn't rotate. And I'm gonna pull as hard as I can. See, sometimes they tighten them really good, sometimes they don't. This one's pretty good. Now this one, I'm going to pull it right here and kind of hold onto the frame, and I'm going to pull up on it, or push up on the frame and pull down on the wrench. So got that loosened up. And I'd like to do on this bad boy here is I'm going to have to cut the zip tie, get that off there, pull that off there, cycle, pull that one off too, might as well. Recycle. Now I've got the chain nice and loose because the bolts are loose, so the wheel's all the way up in the thing. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and squeeze the brakes. Are they over tight? Yeah, they way over tighten them, so I'm going to have to loosen those up real quick. 10mm wrench. Just loosen up this little bolt here, and I'm actually squeezing the brakes closed so they don't pull the cable all the way out. Pull it a little, adjust it a little bit. Turn the wrench over, tighten it back down. Now I should have plenty of slack in the cable for me to pull the thing off here. So let's do this and pull that off. Just pulled it off there. Some guys pull this way. I like to push it inward. That way that the chain doesn't get stuck in between the sprocket and the crank arm. And you start at this point. Some guys start at this point and they want to go, ugh. Well, you can. Let me show you. You can push it and see it really doesn't want to go very much. So, I don't know why, but if I pull it while I'm doing it on this side. See how that came off? It's like I can have more leverage pulling this way. I don't know why, don't ask me why. But that's how I do it. Now you know. Pull that up a little bit, and if you notice I'm not taking the cardboard off yet because I don't want the chain to scratch the paint yet. Got the rear wheel. I'm gonna go ahead and check out the rear hub. Take it, and I'm gonna hold this side. And can I loosen that up by finger? No. Can I loosen this side up by finger? No. So that's pretty good. Sometimes what you're gonna wanna do is just make sure you snug them up. A couple crescent wrenches, one on the big side, one on the drive side, because the one on the drive side has multiple sides. Just give her a little snug. Yeah, make sure. And then you also want to make sure that you don't over tighten it, because sometimes you can. So, let's move on to the true. That's actually not too bad either. Very surprised. A couple spots that go out and come back in. You get those that go out first. Oh yeah, it's a little loosey there. A little loosey there. So since this is going to be a bigger dude, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make sure to true this, and I'm going to tension the hell out of it. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to give her a whole full turn. I'm going to go ahead and speed things up real quick. All right, go. Okay, now if you guys have noticed, I've only gone over basically one side, drive side, tension that side, and then tension this side. The reason being is because if you tension one side, all you're doing is basically pulling the wheel in one direction. You're not pulling it out of round. You're keeping it in round, and then you pull it back in the other direction by putting the same amount of torque on this one. And I did do a full turn on each one of these. I haven't even trued it yet since I've done that, and it's actually not too bad. That means that the rim itself was actually in pretty good condition beforehand. So a little torque there, and that's ready to be put on the bike. So let's get her back on the bike, and let's get the rest of the packaging off. Actually, let's get the rest of the packaging off first, and then we'll put on the bike. Well, if some of you guys are wondering why I've still got this piece of cardboard on here and I did, took off all the rest, it's because the chain is still resting on the frame here. And I'll just take that off here in just a second. The rest of it's, pretty much what I needed to do. Brakes are still open, haven't adjusted anything yet. I'm just gonna slide the rear wheel in, and I'm gonna check the bottom bracket, and then I'm gonna tighten up the rear wheel. So it's always good to make sure you check everything before you tighten it all up and go, oh my gosh, I've got to redo it again. Don't redo it again, don't waste your time. So I'm going to check the pinch bolt on this part of the crank arm. And there's another pinch bolt here on this crank arm. Loosen those things up. That one wasn't actually very tight. A lot of them are very tight where it almost breaks the wrench or almost strips out the bolt. And then, of course, I look down, there's a gap in between here, and I can see how far the spindle is on each side of the crank arm. I need to see if I can move it over any little bit, and it looks like it might be moved just a hair towards the non-drive side by probably about maybe about a half turn. Actually, let me give it a full turn. And then I loosen that, and then I tighten this the whole turn. Yeah, just a little bit more for good measure. Make sure we really do that good. Okay, cool. Not too much pressure. Just until it kind of stops. And then we're going to tighten those up. Tighten that one up. All right, that was good. Now go ahead and lift the chain up so it doesn't rub on the frame here. And then drop it on the driver. And after you do that, I like to pull it, since it's still on the inside, I like to put it on the bottom, and of course pedal backwards. And what that's going to do is that's going to bring it up. Now, if you do it in this direction right here where it's tightening up, there's a bolt that goes through the back. Let me get you a little closer look and I'll show you why you don't do it in this particular direction. I'll show you a better direction on why I'm doing it this way. Okay guys, let me see if I can get you at this angle here. The chain is starting to get really tight and it's actually hitting the bolt back here. There's a bolt before this bolts the whole entire crank arm to the sprocket to the crank arm, and that's what holds it all in place. So that's going to go around on either the shaft or an adapter around the spindle, and then once this is in place, to keep this from just spinning around, you have a bolt that goes through. So if you start off with, say, this forward, crank arm forward, and then you start going back like this, the chain actually binds up against the back of that bolt. So my suggestion, like before, when I took it off with the crank arm facing backwards, I'm going to do the same thing to put the chain on. I'm going to face that one backwards. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull that up, and the chain pops right on with no resistance. So to take it off, crank arm that way, push on it, and that will come off. Pops right off, comes right off. And then if you want to go back on, drive side crank arm back. Boom, pops right on. So that's my free tip of the day. Let me tighten up this rear wheel and let's get this going. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a 17mm wrench. Do not use anything but a 17mm wrench. Either you can use a socket, what have you. I don't recommend impacts. This is Blue Point. We use all kinds of other stuff. I usually like to use the closed end style wrench. You can always do it with this one, but that only grabs two sides. You grab that, and that grabs every single side of the bolt or the nut, whichever thing you're trying to tighten up. Now on this, I always do the drive side and kind of feel how much tension I want to do. I'm looking down and making sure it's nice and tight, or nice and straight, and then checking it. See, that's got a little bit of deflection there. That's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to maybe come over here, put my hand against the frame here, and pull just a hair on there while I'm tightening that, pulling on the tire and kind of squeezing my hand that way. Double check, make sure that it's in line here. Looking straight down, look straight down here, make sure it's in line here, down here on the bottom. Looks pretty good. I'm going to really tighten that up. Notice I'm really grabbing onto that frame and doing that. I'm not trying to rely on the clamp of the stand to do all the work for me. Okay, so check my tension again. Now before I do anything else, I'm going to go around a couple times, check it. To me that looks pretty good. So double check how tight this is. And then let's put on the front wheel. Now this front wheel should be pretty easy. I'm going to take out the fork block from packaging. it's always good to have these things in the fork whenever they're being shipped. That way it doesn't crush these. It also kind of sometimes keeps them from going back and forth. I've seen people use axles with axle nuts on the inside and nuts on the outside to hold everything still. But sometimes that's protruding out and that can poke through the box. So those are always better. On these front wheels, the nuts on here are also a 17 millimeter. Now the tires do kind of have a direction to them. I don't know if they say directional on the sides. It does not say directional on the sides. So what I normally look for is what direction is this tread going in. Right there it's kind of pointing that way. Turn it around because I want it pointed this way, just like the rear tire is. And it's also got these hook washers, safety hook washers. When you're not using pegs, you always want to make sure to use these safety hook washers. If you use pegs, take these things off and make sure that the peg is against the dropout of the fork or the dropout of the frame. You never want a washer in between a peg and the frame or fork. So let's get those on there. I like the nuts on here because the flange on the outside of that nut is really quite large. So when you are wanting to run pegs, it'll really bite into it. I'm going to go ahead and just pull that up in there, pull that in place with my leg. Make sure that those washers go in the little hole that's in the fork there. I'll do one side, hand snug it, that way I can do this side. And again, I'm pushing up with my leg and putting force on the wheel as if the wheel were on the ground. So it's all the way in. Tighten up one side, come over to this side, tighten that side up. Now make sure it spins. I like to look at the center of here with the center hole there to make sure that it's lined up nice and straight. I also look in my gap here from the sides there and there. Visually, you want to make sure it looks good. You'll know if it's straight or not. When you sit on the bike and you look down, you'll really see it. So really make sure those are good and snug. And I'm going to go ahead and put on the pedals, air up the tires, and give her a good wipe down, and then let's do the brakes. All right, so let's get back to what I was supposed to be doing here. Make sure you always grease the threads of your pedals. Now what I like about these pedals is that it does have quite a few different sides for you to put wrenches on, and then a normal pedal wrench. It also has a 6 millimeter Allen wrench side on the back side of it for different applications, different wants, different needs, whatever you want to do. So you can either go through the back and push on it and put it on this way, or you can do it the more traditional way. Good old school pedal wrench. Now we've got the Pedro's pedal wrench. We also have the Park Tool pedal wrench. Park Tool pedal wrench is a little bit overkill. We do that more for when we need to break off pedals that won't come off very easily. Sometimes when putting them in different spots. The Pedro's one works fine. At home I have a different one. It's a two-sided Pedro's one. But yeah, so this, what you can do is hold it, start spinning it backwards, and it will catch the thread. And as you spin it backwards, what you're doing is you're actually spinning the threads of the pedals forward. The right-hand pedal is always a right-hand thread. Left-hand pedal is always left-hand thread. So when you want to put them on, you're twisting them towards the front of the bike. To take them off, towards the back of the bike. And this is only for the pedals. This is pretty much on every single kind of pedal you're talking about. BMX pedals, clipless pedals, pedals on 3-piece cranks, pedals on 1-piece cranks, pedals on trikes. Even on like unicycles, there is a left and a right pedal. Kind of weird. And you will always notice that there is a left and a right pedal. The platform on most BMX pedals, the center is not in the middle of where your actual foot's going to go onto, and every time you flip over, it's the same on every side. That way you're a little bit more forward, or you're putting the center of your axle more in the middle of your foot and giving yourself a nice little platform. But you notice I went backwards with this, held onto that, and tighten that down. You go to this side, find my spot that goes around, go backwards, and I'm just holding the pedal wrench. And it's kind of doing that little choo-choo train action. And then it stops, and I'm going to use my leverage. Boom. Tighten that up. And I, of course, always like to wipe off the excess grease, because you don't want customers getting mad that they've got grease on their pants, or when it collects all the nice dirt and mud that they're going to be collecting while they're riding. Go from there. All right, we're going to get these brakes hooked up right here. Of course, you've got inside of here, you've got your barrel adjuster, just a nice steel barrel adjuster, and then this guide here, which is detachable in case you want to go brakeless, which these brake bosses can also come out once you remove the brake boss and everything comes off with it, and it looks like a shaved frame. So I'm going to grab onto the end there. This side over here has got a bolt that's holding everything on there. Same kind of bolt that you pretty much see right here. It's just this one has a 10mm wrench side as well. The bolt that's in there does not. It's rounded and it's kind of shaped to fit into this specific hole. So we're going to go ahead and squeeze the brake like this and then hold it with this hand. Then I'm going to go ahead and make sure I can get it into there. Now, if you notice that was not letting that go in there, go ahead and pop that in there, let it go. Make sure it's kind of straight. Give it a little squeeze. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust the brake pads. So let's adjust these brake pads right here. I don't know if you notice when I squeeze the brake lever here, it's not straight here. This one's hitting first compared to that one. Now if I pull this cable over a hair and bend it the right way, will that help out a little bit? That helps out a little bit, but those pads are still not in the right spot. So as we go through here, 10mm wrench, squeeze the lever, then loosen. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of move that into the spot that I want it. Just loosen it by hand, make everything loose. Now squeeze the brake lever one more time, get that nice and even there. And then I'm going to tighten this down. Now some people say, oh, I want it to be towed in. On these bikes with this particular brake, it really doesn't have to be as much as say on a V-brake. See, that's hitting nice and right in the middle of that where it's going to be nice. So go to the other side here, find the 10. Last but not least, there we go. Go ahead and squeeze. And I'm going to pull the brake lever towards me a little bit. And I'm going to adjust this pad, squeezing the brake, make sure it's right where I want it. 10mm wrench, a little snug down just a little bit. Now to make sure it's nice and tight, I'm actually going to grab the pad and not let it spin while I tighten it. Now I think I've got this done. Bam, 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 bam. Oh yeah, people. That's what I'm talking about. Now before you even go off and hand this thing off to the customer and call them and say, yeah, I got your bike done, you make sure you give it a good wipe down, get all the garbage off of it, and you inspect everything, because the customer will inspect it and he'll notice every little tiny scratch or anything flaw-wise that's going to be on the bike. They always notice the flaws. So always just give them a good wipe down, a good inspection. Make sure whatever shop you're at, if you have any labeling, your shop sticker with all your info on it, always put that on there. That's what I'm going to do myself. Now, some of these bikes have stickers here, so I'm going to put it on the down tube. Will my little sticker fit underneath the seat? Yes. So I like to put it there because it's way more noticeable to customers and to their friends who may say, hey, I really like that bike. Where'd you get it at? Well, there's a sticker right there. It says where I got it from. I'm going to go ahead and finish airing up the tires, and I'm going to put on the reflectors, and then I'm going to show you a couple other final touches. We're going to go from there. So I just need to put some final touches on this thing right here. Get my couple Allen wrenches, and drop everything on the floor as a professional mechanic should. We're going to go ahead and loosen up the pinch bolts on the side of the stem here, on both sides, because my handlebar is facing that direction, my front wheel is facing that direction. So I want to make sure that they're facing both the same direction, or at least in line with each other, you know, square-wise. Loosen up a couple pinch bolts here, if I can, and then go ahead and put my foot right here on the tire and just move the handlebar over whenever I need it to go to. Trying to hold that while I was turning that and loosen up these bolts and everything else. Make sure these are all loose still. And then cap that a little bit. So now what I'm doing visually is I'm looking straight down the handlebar to this part of the handlebar, to the fork, to the axle, all the way down. Some people say, oh, I'm looking at this at the tire. No, I'm actually looking all the way down, just to make sure that basically the tips of the fork legs up front here, I'm seeing on the back side of here. And when I think that they're just about even, that's good. Now, I'm also going to double check the headset. This has a 6mm bolt that has a cap on it. Just get a little loosey-loosey real quick, because it seems like it might be a little over-tightened. And then let's snug her back down just a hair. I don't feel any play. Make sure you're still nice and straight. And then tighten up the bolts. And just like these ones, you don't want to just sit there and wrench one down. You want to do it evenly. So like that bolt down there on the bottom, I don't know why, I always do the bottom one first because it's closest to the bearings. And then I'll do the top one. And just kind of snug it down a little bit. Go back over to the bottom one again. Nice and tight. Go back to this one. Nice and tight. And then one more time for good measure. Because you can see that one actually loosens up a little bit as this side pinches, it loosens up the other side. Like that, boom, there we go. That to me looks good. I'm not getting the play, bounce it up and down. And yeah, I already pumped up the tires up to 58 pounds on these bad boys. They say maximum of 110. And now the brake lever here, while I'm sitting, I want to bring this up until I just barely see the top of that brake lever. Boom, right there. So as I'm sitting down, I'm visually looking, and then the top of this and the brake lever, boom, is right there. So as I put my hand right here, squeeze the lever, all the tendons in my hand and everything else are perfectly straight, and it gives me the most amount of grip as possible. And then when you stand up, you still have a good amount of grip. You don't want it facing straight down, you don't want it facing out. If it's facing out, your hand's like that. If it's facing straight down, you're trying to grab it like this when you're sitting down. Now, boom. Ergonomics is always key. I think this bad boy is done. Let's go take her for a little test ride. See how she goes. Alright, so that's it, man. Thanks guys for watching. Again, if you like any of these videos, just like and subscribe. I'm going to try to keep on doing more videos of this type of stuff before my shop here goes out of business. Yeah, so anything else? Peace!